grew up Nigeria-centric. That was the culture that we grew up in. My mother, my late mother, of course, being a permanent secretary, was very, very passionate about Nigeria. And in those days, permanent secretaries were very powerful, extremely powerful. They determined what government did, and so on and so forth. So we grew up in the secretariat. We grew up looking at government files. We grew up understanding how government worked. We grew up with the foundation of excellence, foundation of discipline, foundation of honesty. I'll tell you a true story. When my mother was permanent secretary, Ministry of Trade and Industries, and chairperson of what you call the Odua Group today, I don't know if you know that group, but it used to be the Western Nigerian Development Corporation private arm that Awolowo formed in those days. A gentleman, an Italian, came to see my mother at home. In those days, you went to work at 7:30. You came back home at 3:30. Secretariat closed at 3:30. So by 4 o'clock, my mother would be home, typically to have a quick lunch and then go back to work again at about 6 o'clock and then work till about 8 or 9 o'clock. So this man, a Greek man, came to visit my mom, and he brought a bunch of files. And when he came at about 4 o'clock or 4:15, my mother said she wasn't going to see him, that secretariat work is meant for secretariat, and that this was her private residence. She didn't want to see anybody. But because he was a white man and had curly hair, I went and I begged my mom and I persuaded her that it would be disrespectful not to see this white man. So he said, okay, no problem. She will see him 10, 15 minutes and then see what he had to say. The man brought a brand new 404. The cars in those days were 404. I don't know how many people are old enough to know that sort of car. 404, Peugeot 404, French car. There were no air-conditioned cars in those days. It was a brand new car, 404. Brought some files and some other things that I didn't know what they were. And he sat in the dining room with my mother, and when they had spoken for about 10 or 15 minutes, I heard my mother shouting and screaming, "Get out of here. Stupid man, foolish man, nincompoop, stupid fool. You think you can come to my house and talk rubbish and talk anyhow? I will have you arrested. I will have you deported. I will have you sent back to your village. Get out. Don't come back here again. If you are not careful, I will shut down your company." She was screaming like, I said, "Mommy, what is the problem?" She kept on screaming and screaming. This man, Mr. Nagasaki was his name. He picked up his files, ran out of the house, jumped into his car, drove off. So I went to my mom and I said, "How can you treat our guest like that?" He says, "He's a stupid man. He's a foolish man, madman, imperialist, nincompoop, this and that. This should never come here. And you don't ever allow this again in this house. Otherwise," I said, "What did he do?" He says, "He offered me a bribe." I said, "He offered you a bribe? And you are making so much noise?" He said, "He offered me a bribe." I said, "By the way, what did he offer you?" He says, "That car, useless car that he brought." He says, "A house in Italy." I said, "And you didn't collect it?" He said, "You and the Nagasaki, out of my house." That was Nigeria then. I don't know what Nigeria is now.